Welcome back. In the previous two videos, I completed a design for a shelving for vertical parts. And in this video, I'm going to take that information, or the CAD information that I created, and I'm going to apply machining operations on top of those geometries. I'm using a program called CAMBAM. This is a program that I use constantly, and I like it because it gives me the ability to provide a lot of parts on a single sheet pretty easily, and I have developed a pretty good workflow for myself over the years with it. So let's get started. And now I'm going to open up CAMBAM. Okay, I've got CAMBAM open. I'm going to open that file, and it will allow you to open up DXF files as well. So vertical material holder, double click. All right, so I've got the two designs. I'm going to select this, and I want to join all of the vertices that, like, I had these as a bunch of lines. They're not in a polyline yet. So I'm going to go ahead and join it. You can see the only thing that actually joined was this outside line, which is correct. The circles don't need joining. We can also click on it and make sure that the closed is equal to true. So let's do the same thing with this. Edit, join, press OK. And the only thing that it joined was the outside line there, outside rectangle. Okay, so now if I select it, I know it's joined, it's one rectangle, and I know this one is a polyline or polygon, a closed polygon. Okay, so I think I'm going to do this one first. So I'm going to move this one out of the way. I'm going to select it. I'm going to use the Shift key, and I'm going to drag it out. I can also use the transform, move, and the Control M, but I can't use the Control M right now because I'm recording the screen and it doesn't allow me to do that. It probably has that as a reserved command. So I'm going to use the Shift. I'm going to go as close to the corner as possible. That's where I want to run this at as close to the origin as possible. So I'm going to go even closer here. I like to go about 1/8 of an inch, somewhere around there. And I'm going to, let's see, give it a little more space. Just to give you a little bit more information about CAMBAM. This is the outline area. These are the geometric primitives. You can see as I scroll through it, you can see all of the circles. And this is the layer that I used in AutoCAD. And then I have that's the layers. It says layers here. And that's the, you'll see in AutoCAD that I only used one layer, and that was at the 0 layer. And this is the machining stuff. So this is the geometric primitives, and this is the machining, the machining operations. So I'm going to first set up my stock, and I want my stock size to be somewhere around this size here. So let's see. If I put my cursor around this area, I can see that I'm looking at this little area down in the bottom right. If I put my cursor over here, I can see it's 27 by 10. So I'll say that it's 28 by 11. So I'm going to need a material that's at least that size. And then I'm going to use 0.81, because this is a 0.75 inch or 3/4 of an inch thick material, or 19 millimeters, give or take. And I want it to make sure that it goes all the way through, just in case I don't have a perfectly flat bed. So if this is a little bit higher here, it'll still go all the way through on this side. So I'm going to use 0.81, and that's also the reason why you see my spoil board is all messed up, because it has lots of lines all the way through it. And I just like to make sure that everything is done the first time, and I don't have to go over it again and or re-zero my Z at another point. So I just want to make sure that it all goes down, all goes through. So let's go ahead and I'll do the circles first. By the way, let's go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to go ahead and run all the circles. So I'm going to press the... This is going to be interesting because I think I might... These may be a little bit too big and they could jam the machine, because when I cut it out, this 2-inch is going to be 1.5 inches material in here that could pop up, and because of the vacuum that I have, it could bring it up, and then when the machine wants to move in some other direction, it may jam with the piece halfway in the hole, and I don't want that to happen. So I might have to put holding tabs in each one of these. So I may just use the, what do you call it, the profile command. So I'll do that first. Actually, I'll do these first. I'll do the holes first. It's not going to be fun cutting out all of those holding tabs. There's a lot of them. Okay, so let's use the drill command. Okay, so I have the drill. You can see that it's going, the target depth is 0.81. The depth increment is 0.81. That's fine because I don't have it as roughing. I'm going to go ahead and do it again because I want a roughing and a finishing. So I'm going to make this a roughing. And I'm using an end mill that is stated to be 1/4 inch, but I measured it and it's actually 0.236, and this is actually right on the end mill. It's written right on the end mill. It says 1/4 inch, but when I measured it with a caliper, it's 0.236, and that just happens to be 6 millimeters. So I'm probably working with a 6 millimeter end mill, or the sharpening process brought it down to 0.236. Not sure. Okay, so with that understanding, I can, because these are 0.25, I can still make these a spiral. And you may not know what I'm talking about yet, but if you look at it, it has a spiral going down. If I select it, maybe you can see that better. Yeah. So the first one is the roughing, and it's spiraling down. And then it does a finishing, or sort of a final all the way around, and then comes back up. And then the drill 2, which is the finishing, has another spiral, but it's a greater, it uses 0.81 as the depth increment, so it's a sort of a stretched spiral. The roughing is a 0.41, so it's a little bit of a tighter spiral, so it's going down there a little bit slower. And you can also modify that by its plunge feed rate. So if I change the plunge feed rate, you'll see a tighter spiral. Let's try that. Let's say I want to go 20 inches per minute. And I use Control T. It doesn't change. So I was wrong. So it just goes down slower, but in the same spiraling. All right, so let's go back to, what was it? Okay, it was 40. So let's change it back to 40. I think CAMBAM used to do that a while back, but I may be wrong. Okay, so I have these circles drilled, these 4 circles. Now I need to create the, actually I'm just going to select all of it and then unselect what I don't want. So I'm going to use the Control button and select what I don't want to run, especially these small circles. Okay, so I'm going to make these profiles. So this is a profile, and I'm going to click it twice because I want one to be a roughing profile. So let's make this roughing, and then a finishing, which is the default. Control T. Now we can see all of the holding tabs that I'd have to I'd have to cut out, and I don't want to cut out all those holding tabs. So what I'm probably going to do is just have a single holding tab, one holding tab per circle, just to make sure it stays in there. So I'm going to select all of that, and I will go to the holding tabs area, and it gives me a bunch of parameters for holding tabs. Right now I have it for minimum tabs 4 and then maximum tabs 6. So I'm going to change this to 1 and see what happens. Control T. Okay, there's only 1 here. So I'll do minimum of, well, it should be a minimum of 1. That's weird that it didn't do it on all of them. It could be the distance between holding tabs. Okay, yeah, I'll just make this a 1. And also you have the width of the holding tab is 0.7. That's the width here. And then the height of the holding tab is 0.5. And since my material is 3/4 of an inch, 0.5 is a little bit into the material, and I can still have a flat area that I can use for my router, my trim router bit. And also the, let's see, use lead-ins, faults, not really too worried about that. And the tab style is triangle. You can do a triangle and a square. So I usually use triangle because it maintains the velocity better than a square, because in a square it'll stop, go up, move over, go down, and then continue. But in a triangle it tries to maintain its velocity, so it goes here, and as it's going across, it's moving up, and then it's moving down, and then it comes back around. I haven't actually used lead-ins on a holding tab, so I'm not going to try it right now. I'll probably get into that later on when I learn about it. So let's see if this tab distance worked. Control T. And it looks like I have 6, so I need to change the, I could increase the holding tab's distance, or I could just say maximum 1. And the maximum 1 is a lot easier. And it didn't work. Did it work? No. Minimum tabs, maximum tabs, tab distance, 1. Huh. Let's see if I maximum tabs 2. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I do have 2 on each. It just doesn't want to do the 1. That is really strange. Okay, maybe I'll just use 2. Kind of curious. Probably won't accept decimals, will it? 1.5 defaults to 2. Yeah, check that out. It just put a 2 in there. So 1, I'll just put a 2. And maybe I'll change this. What is the circumference of that 2-inch diameter? So that would be 2 pi r. So let's see what that would be. So 2 pi r is actually 2 times r, which is the diameter is 2, so it's just 2. So 2 pi, that would be 6.28. So let's see, 6 inches. Haha, funny. That happens. So I'll go 5. Oh wait, I already had the, yeah. I'll go 5 inches. Huh. It just doesn't want to do 2 tabs, or 1 tab. This is odd. 3. Okay. Oh, 3.14. Huh. All right, let's see. If I go just above 3.14, what happens? 3.15. Okay, that makes sense. Oh well, I guess I'm going to have to do 2 tabs. I could do this individually. Let's see what would happen. I'm just kind of curious. Delete that. Okay, so I would do the on the first one of each one, I would do a roughing, and let's see if my holding tabs would work then. 1 and 1. Oh, I didn't select all of them. Okay, that works. I'm gonna have to do it this way because me cutting a whole bunch of holding tabs, it makes more sense to do it in design, to put just one holding tab than me have to do all the laborious work of cutting all of those tabs. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it this way because I'm gonna be cutting a bunch of these. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and select every other one, make sure it has roughing. The first one of each. Okay. Looks like I have the correct amount. That's good. So I'm going to go to Style here and select a roughing. All right. And now I'm also going to, I have to fix the holding tabs for all of them, and that's going to be a lot easier because all I have to do is go here, select the first one, go all the way down, and then press the Shift, and it selects all of them. Go to holding tabs, automatic is fine. And the minimum tabs is 1 and the maximum tabs is 1. Press enter, and I'm going to Control T to show it all, and it looks like it has it works. It has 1 holding tab per hole. And this is, like I said before, it's just a safeguard so these things don't fly out and get the machine jammed. Alright, I'm hoping these holding tabs actually hold, but they should. I don't see why they wouldn't, because they're pretty wide actually. Alright, now the final thing I have to do is cut out the outside, and I'm going to use 2 profiles for that. The first one is going to be a roughing. So let's see how that one looks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 6. So I got 2, 4, and 6 holding tabs. That should be enough. Alright, so that first part is done. I'm going to go ahead and do the cam for the legs as well. I'm going to call this one Vertical Material Holder Shelf. Alright, so that's done. Now I'm going to now save it as a different name. Vertical material holder, I'm going to call it leg. Oops, I have 2 dots in there. Okay, So now I have it for the leg. I'm gonna delete all of my machining operations. I could just delete the part 1, press OK, and everything is deleted. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of this area. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to rotate it first, Control R, and I'm going to start with I'm using Shift so I maintain a straight line, and then I'm going to turn it to its side. I'm going to use Shift just to make sure it snaps at 90 degrees. And now I'll use Shift to move it to this location. Let's take a look at it. See if I can get it closer to this edge. All right. And it looks like the top left of this area is, or this part is 37, so I'll use 38 by 3. So my stock will be 38 by 3. Okay, so now I have to make sure that I have a material that is at least 38 by 3. So let's go ahead and just do the holes first. I said those other holes were 0.25, didn't I? These are 0.43 right here. These are the ones that are 0.25. So the first one's going to be a roughing. Okay, so that's done, and I'm going to cut out the outside. So I'll do 2 profiles, 1 roughing and 1 finishing. Okay. That should be okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one, and I'll go into machining G-code, and I can, if I wanted to, like put the dimensions of the material here, because I think that would be good. 38 by 3. And I should probably do that to the other one. So let's go ahead and open. Sure, let's save. Shelf. Okay, so I'm going to do the machining. What was this material? 28 by 11. So let's go ahead and use Control T first to clean it up. So machining, produce G-code, and 28 by 11. Get rid of one of those dots. Okay. All right. So now I can go ahead and start running it on the machine. Everything should be fine. I hope you enjoyed watching the CAMBAM tutorial. A lot of the parameters that I use and a lot of the functionality of CAMBAM is very similar to most CAM programs. You have various parameters for each machining operation, and those parameters are generally available to most, if not all, CAM programs. So it's probably a good idea to learn each of those parameters as we go. I'm going to be, like I said, making a whole bunch of these videos, so you'll get to understand a lot of the parameters as I start using them myself. In the next video, we'll load this G file into Mach 3 and watch the CNC machine route it out. Thank you for watching.